My name is Ricky Rigolato, the founder of Route the Service Platform. It's a sales platform for the commercial cleaning services industry. I am also the owner of Rosalato Services, a family-owned commercial cleaning company. So welcome to Cleaning and Cocktails, a show where I get the opportunity to sit down with cleaning industry experts and share stories, talk shop about the industry. So grab your cocktail, listen in, and I hope you guys enjoy the show. Today's sponsor is On the Rocks Premium Cocktails. It's bottled to bring the bar directly to you. You just gotta crack it and pour it. Hey guys, so today's episode is on branding and business development. They both correlate with your image, your logo, and the brand of your company. So let's start talking about how to build your company's brand and take it to the next level and stand out from the rest of the pack. Welcome to Cleaning and Cocktails. Another episode of some fun-filled talks, conversations with, in this case, fellow entrepreneurs. These guys are my best friends. I'll get into what they're doing and the awesome stuff that they're doing as business owners here in the Chicago area. Usually, we're talking about cleaning experts. We're talking about the cleaning industry, right? In this case, I wanted to switch things up a bit because as I'm talking to so many cleaning business owners, I found that branding is an element that a lot of business owners are not falling short, but they may need some direction. And I said, hey, I've got some good friends that are in the industry that they do it for me. Everything you guys see on, in my office, on social media has been developed, created, produced by these guys. So, without further ado, I want to get into just, you guys tell me a little bit about yourselves. I know everything about you guys, but I want everybody else to get a little bit about Carlo, get a little bit about Rich. Rich, why don't you start off? Give us, how did you get into the screen printing industry, let alone just being an entrepreneur?
Yeah, I can kind of open it up. Thanks for having us, by the way, Ricky.
Yeah.
Culture Studio is basically a merchandise company. We make products a lot like the stuff that you guys see with Route, and pretty specifically play in the music space. So we make music merchandise for touring and retail artists. So big box retailers along with what used to be concerts, but as the conversation we just had, we think they're going to come back pretty strong. So we haven't always been in the music industry. We started off in retail. So we had a brand of our own. I think that's what made us good at kind of understanding what the other side is looking for. We're actually on that side, having a brand and retailing our products across the country. At that point, in 2008, we decided that we had a hard time importing products. We actually still have a hard time importing products, to be completely honest with you.
China, specifically.
Yeah, and we weren't good at importing the products. We had a really hard time making those products in the U.S. around 2008, and so that's where the studio part comes from. Culture Studio. We decided that we're just going to go up and open up a tiny. Actually, our first shop was probably smaller than this. Your office that we got here was like 900 square feet, the entire shop. So we made a little studio of our own, and that ball just continued to start to roll. We assembled a team with all the brothers involved, and we grew that from 2008 to 900 square feet to where we are today, 50,000 square feet. It was almost 100 employees on that side, and we produce in the range of 40,000 units a day out of the building. We make every type of product that you can imagine: apparel, soft goods, hard goods. We got an insane new machine called the Hybrid Digital Squeegee that I think is going to really change the way that decoration is done on the print side. But that's hopefully a little open up if you have anything to add to that.
Yeah, we'll get into before getting into screen printing. But Carlo, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, so I'm Carlo Oviedo. I'm the Chief Revenue Officer for Culture Studio. So that's a fancy word for just driving business and sales. That's a fancy word we gave me. But we got into this business, like Rich said, back in 2008 and just started to really disrupt. And that's why I like what Ricky's doing with this podcast and talking about cleaning and everything, is that it's a classic industry for sure. But just because it's classic and it's been around for so long doesn't mean someone can't come in and disrupt the hell out of it. And I think that's what Culture Studio really did. When you think about screen printing and you think about manufacturing, it's a pretty old school thing. It's old guys running the shops. It's second, third generation. And I think the same thing is with cleaning. It's like handed down from my dad gave me this, and my uncles gave me that. And we just came in with a new energy, and we shook things up a little bit. And I think when someone comes in and shakes things up, you piss a lot of people off probably along the way, which is okay. It's okay if you come and you say yes to everything and then figure out a way. I think if you looked at or interviewed one of our employees, one of our 100, and asked, what is Carlo's thing? Like what makes him different? It's the yes mentality. It's like, can you get this done? Can you do 5,000 Jonas Brothers t-shirts in one day and get it to the United Center? Yes. Mm-hmm. And then you got to go back to the team and figure out if we can really do it. Guys, we just took an order for 5,000 units, and we have to hand deliver it to the United Center
in 4 hours.
How do we do it? But it's that grit and saying it up front, but then going back to your team and figuring out how to actually get it done is the beauty. That's the secret sauce behind the whole thing. So, it's been a cool ride. I'm sure we'll get a little deeper into it. But myself, Rich, and we have 2 other brothers, Joey and Nick. So family run in our own rights. Rich, Joey, and Nick are actually brothers, and I'm kind of that brother from another mother that we just grew up together, best friends, Rich and I. And that family dynamic really works, I think, only in one way, because you always hear the horror stories like family-run businesses, they butt heads and like things don't work out. It works out in our world because Rich is kind of the business brains behind everything. If you got to get $100,000 million loan from somewhere, he'll figure out a way to get it. He's got the business acumen. Me, I'll close a deal. I'll figure out a way to close $1 million deal. Joey is the best at what he does in production, and Nick is. We were just talking about him before the show. He's the logistics king. He's got the patience. He knows how to speak the language, and those are all skill sets that we don't have. So you take those 4 different pieces and you put the right people in the right seat, and success comes from it. So.
Yeah. So exactly why this is perfect, because every element you guys talked on, it's relevant to us in the cleaning industry, right? So I'll go down the line where you guys said logistics. Our logistics is, where staff is going to work at, right? Like you guys have the brick and mortar where people work, which is one battle in itself, where we have, 50 locations that somebody has to go to and service. So logistics, we have to figure out scheduling. How does that work? Yeah. In a cleaning business, everybody should have that person who handles that, right? Mm-hmm. The business acumen. Do you know how much stuff I have to do? I had to learn QuickBooks. I had to understand LLC versus S corp. I had to understand, what software the team should be using. That's another. Somebody else should be responsible.
It's another person,
right? Yeah. Like you're talking about production with Joey. That's like supplies inventory for us in the cleaning space. Like somebody right now, they're doing inventory management. I know not one thing about that. I know bits and pieces, but it proves to me, to prove to everybody in our space, is running a cleaning business, running a screen printing business, running a plumbing business. Like we're service oriented, so there's a lot of relevancy. Yeah. And that's why I think this is great to talk, because you guys are talking about. We're going to talk about issues and elements and branding in what you guys bring to the table, but for everybody to know is these are things that we all, as a cleaning business, should be implementing and using too.
Any business, really. These are things that are going to flow over to any business. And with like production with Joey, that could be who's the subject matter expert for you guys in the flooring, and then who's the subject matter expert on painting and the construction. Getting someone that really knows their craft in each one of those things adds value to the company in a whole.
And so the main thing, and this is where I get some feedback from you guys, is everybody on our space, to give you some insight, right, is they struggle to scale. They struggle to go from the owner wearing multiple hats, like I did for the first couple of years, right? Mm-hmm. You don't necessarily trust somebody to come in and take that workload and delegate, but you guys have just said it, with 4 people, you've delegated 4 different roles, and I'm sure within the organization there's way more other people that run other departments. But talk about that transition from when you guys were, when I met you guys in the 1,000 square foot office, you were wearing every hat. going from producing a T-shirt to selling to going to a fashion show. Rich is
Talk
doing
about his days of washing the screen off.
Talk about the transition from
down.
you guys doing the work to when you figured out, damn, I need somebody else to do it.
Yeah, I mean, I don't feel. Unfortunately, not everybody is blessed to have, for me, like 3 incredible brothers that all kind of each have thankless jobs, because it's not like, one of us is on a daily basis, like running over and being like, hey, great sale, like
good clothes.
We're in it, and I think that's something that we talk about often is removing ourselves a little bit from the business and being a lot more thankful for each other's role and the time that we get to spend with each other. But, especially in the times like we have today, that we find a whole greater appreciation for each other's roles when times get tough. You start to look at that other person. I mentioned Nick, who's a logistics expert. Like, I wouldn't even know where to start. Like, what is the air bill and where does it fly? What is the route? Who's the carrier?
What is the BOL?
The BOL. Like, I don't even know what a BOL was. And I think have a serious found respect for everybody's role. That is often kind of thankless. That's like because you're in it together, so you don't necessarily think about showing appreciation for each other's role. But my suggestion is that if you haven't been as lucky as I have to kind of be born into the family of the team, you have to assemble that essential crew. And if that essential crew is made up of 2 people, then you parcel that off and you make sure that each one of you are doing something that the other one appreciates. You can't be doing the same job, because that's when it starts to have an element of like, well, I'm doing all the work and you're not, but whether that crew is 2 people or 10 people or 50 people, it's important to put that team together where each one of you are doing a job that is equally of value, even though you may not high five and pat on the back every day. You still have appreciation for the role that they serve. And that's scalable. As if you add a HR person, Carlo and I could say, on 0 days out of the year, we want to do Annabelle's job. 0 days, like not one day I wake up and it's like, you know what I want to do? I want to handle her problems, and you look for people that have the skill set to handle that role. And I think, when you find somebody and you bring them into the internal circle, where you're a differentiator in the business, you really hold on to those people. And, that's the scalability that I think starts to happen is, you go from 2 core people to 4 and 4 core people to 10, and then, you continue that.
You have to want to scale though too. I said that.
So sometimes
we naturally talk about scale because that's who we are. We're built as entrepreneurs and founders of our companies. We want to grow. Not everyone wants to grow, which is crazy to me. It doesn't fit our personalities, but if you don't want to grow, then fine, do QuickBooks yourself and do your social media yourself and do your sales, but you're only going to get to a certain point. But you're talking about Rich is talking about scaling. You then have to start putting the right people in the right place. And you got to have the culture to want to scale. And it's funny, like it's weird. Sometimes it's almost a little corny when we talk about culture because our name is culture.
Stupid name.
It's like I was doing an interview with somebody today, actually, virtually, and I'm like, what do you care most about in the company? Like, what makes you make your decision for where you want to work? She's like, this sounds corny, but it's culture. She's like, I don't want to just say this because I'm on an interview and your name is Culture Studio, but I'm like, it's okay. We chose the name because we're going to have conversations like this because culture is so important. And our culture, and I know Ricky's is as well, and his company is like, how can we disrupt and how can we grow, take over market share, and just continue to grasp bigger and bigger goals. And the funny thing, I've known Ricky for a long time, and he's one of the grittiest guys I've ever met. He's a jack of all trades, this guy. And the funny thing is, every time he calls me, it comes up Ricky, North Star Lending.
Oh.
Remember when you worked there?
First job. When I was working there, working with you guys, because I
used to work with us on the sales.
I know screen printing, man.
Yeah.
You do.
So it goes Ricky North Star Lending. It always reminds me how this guy's always had like 5 different jobs. He's always been pushing forward, trying to do something, trying to figure out which thing was going to be the right thing. And I always joke around with him too. He's like, "Hey Ricky, what's your email?" Because he's got 17 different emails in my phone. He got Rosalato, and he's got this one. He's got when he was a doorman, and he's got this. He got 14 different emails, but it shows the grit and tenacity of a founder, and you can see what you've already done with this place.
Yeah.
That drive that you have, spills over into the culture that you have, and that is even more important when you want people to push their limits too, to have a good company culture.
Yeah.
And that's where branding comes in, I think.
Yeah. So right before branding though, one thing I did want to talk about, because hearing both of you guys talk about this, and I know because I hear people when they message me and ask me questions on so scaling. You can't scale if you don't have the right people that you choose. But a topic that comes up, and something that I struggled with too, was you need revenue to come in to pay for a $50,000 salary position, right? Or you need the cash flow to hire. It's not that people sometimes don't want to hire a operations director, a supervisor, it comes with money. So like I've always tried to understand the formula behind when do you hire that executive level, management level, because hourly is different, right? Hourly is you probably have an account or you guys have an order.
It's a variable cost.
It's a variable cost that comes with production.
Yeah.
Where if you have to hire a management executive level, like when is it that time you say, hey, damn, our bottom line or our profit margin was 10%, we're gonna have to take a hit at 5 to hire X, Y, Z to take us to the next step. Like how do you guys determine when you're hiring management level people?
Yeah, I mean, I would say, we're a wildly process-driven organization, so that we allow ourselves to think. And if I could summarize, that the whole concept is like we build extensive processes, and then in that process, if there's a person that is needed, that's when we'll go out and get the person. Very often at the sacrifice of profit, or at the sacrifice of many things. Profitability has actually been a Greek word to us.
Oh, yeah.
For leading up to the last couple of years. We've always chosen growth over, taking money out of the company or being profitable. But I think if I could add to that is that I don't necessarily believe that the word scaling equals hiring. I think the word scaling means further establishing the process. Okay. And part of the process is being thoughtful. I'm more like the process guy. Like I engineer everything to work perfectly. And then Carlo comes in really nicely on top and says, okay, does everybody understand how to do that? Okay, now use your discretion. Mm-hmm. Because if you have no process, you have to think the entire time, and that wears people out. It wears me out. Like we left the garbage on the back porch. Yeah. I live in Lincoln Park. I had raccoons tear the whole garbage out. Yeah. If I have to think all day long, I exhaust myself. Okay. So process allows me to say, okay, this is how we do something. This is how we accept a credit card. This is how we process an order. This is how an order flows through the organization. So then when somebody says to me, hey, I have an opportunity for 1,000 units, full color process, boom, 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 boom. The process says that I should charge them this amount. Can I charge them this amount minus 20%? I'm like, yeah, for sure. Like it's an easy thought because I'm not thinking the whole way through. The process gets me 80% of the way, and then I can think for that 20%.
Mm-hmm. Wow, so that's a great point because, okay, so sidetrack conversation here. Again, this is when we're having some good combo is scaling doesn't necessarily mean hiring. Mm-hmm. Scaling
definitely not.
Could mean improving your process to expand
it could,
the revenue, the
production in technology. It could be, that's all scaling.
Okay, because a lot of people would probably think scaling means I need to build my team. Yeah. Scaling means I need to go into another state.
Yeah,
that's not necessarily right. And I think That's a great point.
Not necessarily people, but it could be the process. It could be technology. It could be different things that you can add to the process that makes it a little easier.
Okay.
I might be biased, but I believe that scaling starts with sales. In my opinion, you have to have sales in order to then scale, whether it's people, whether it's process, because you can have the best technology in the world, you can have the best process in the world, but if you have $1 of sales, what's it going to give you?
Well, sales cures everything.
Sales cures everything. I don't know if it was...
Somebody said that.
I say that all the time.
Someone a lot smarter than us and a lot richer than us
said
that, and it's like, or even like if you need to go out and get funding, like, did you focus on sales first? A real quick way to get a loan first is close a deal.
Yeah.
It's like,
I think
good. Mark Cuban said it. Mark Cuban's like, if you want to get a deal, just go close a sale first.
Yeah.
Get $1,000 in revenue. You don't have to get a loan application. You don't have to wait and get your credit ran. You don't have to go through all that bullshit. Just go and close a deal, and then close a bigger one. Now, I'm biased because I'm on the sales side of things, but more importantly, like even with this crisis going on, I have even more found respect for the production side of things, the supply chain side of things, because when you're forced to shut down, in most business cases, you have this shutdown, you can still get the sale, and then you go and try to subcontract to someone that's closed.
Yeah.
It's like, all right, now you have the sale, but you can't get it done.
Yeah.
So you have to have a lot more appreciation for all the things behind the scenes, and I think through a crisis, those things really get highlighted.
Yeah. So man, we could keep going. So, but the main emphasis of this episode is branding, right? As you can see, my shirt, over here, coffee coasters. Behind that, a lot of the stuff that I do is branding because I feel like it carries a message of who you are as a company. And for you guys out there, these are my go-to guys for branding. These are my go-to guys for my apparel, my merchandise, my stickers, my face mask. Just did face mask for me. Talk to me about you guys do a lot of stuff with the entertainment and the event venue spaces. But what does branding mean to you guys? Like why should a small business owner always have a line item for branding?
Yeah, go ahead.
Want me to take that one?
Yeah.
All right, I think there's
I
think there's a few different things. Like you obviously have like brand recognition and trying to. I think Ricky was just telling me before the show that there's 1 million cleaning companies or something, and 1 million cleaning companies in the U.S. How do you stand out?
Just the U.S.
Yeah. So how do you stand out? And I always I don't know if you can Google it. You can just jump on Google and say like most recognized brands in the world, and they only show you 50% or 25% of the logo, and you can name each one of them.
Yeah.
So you can look at 25% of the logo and know that that's Apple, know that that's Mercedes. Just by looking at 25% of the logo, that shows how powerful brand recognition is. So when you're in a saturated market, if you could really figure out a way to get out of that and stand out, you're already ahead of the game. So that's one way, but another way is I think now more than ever people talk about culture as staff and employees. Mm-hmm. Yeah, go there.
That one.
Go there.
Oh shit!
Yeah. Don't mix the drinks. Don't mix the drinks.
At least I could be your bartender.
On the rocks. Yeah, but like, what I like when I walk into Route and I walk in here, I already know Ricky's colors are black and white. So now you got the brand identity, you got the logo recognition, you have your color palette that should never sway. And I know Rich will talk a little bit about staying true to to the core. What do you call it? What's the words?
Branding.
Yeah. Well, like what do you call it? Brand guidelines.
Yeah.
And even having your brand guidelines written out in a PDF, like never sway. You might hire a goofy marketing guy, and he might start using blue as your color. Like, well, that's not my color. It's black and white. As soon as you divert from that, you get a little weird. And people are like, well, what's going on with these guys? They don't know who they are. So I know Rich will talk a little bit about that. But when I come back to culture, it's like there's a unity of team as well. Like I see so many pictures on Ricky's social media where he's got all of his team in the middle, almost like a sports team saying, are you ready for this? Let's go. I don't know if you guys are breaking from the middle, but everyone's rocking a Route logo. So there's a sense of like, okay, I'm joining a team that has unity. They have a cause. They have a purpose. They have a mission. They're trying to disrupt, and we're all wearing the same hats and hoodies and T-shirts, and I mean down to the decals on your car. That shows that these guys know what they're doing. That they really spend some time on not only their product but also the unity and the look of the brand.
Yeah, I mean, I would say if this audience, which I think I have a good idea of, like a typical, what you said, 1 million of them, which is insane, but I would say a typical cleaning company would be a lot like our organization, which we've never been Google AdWords experts. Like, we've tried hiring marketing firms, we've tried hiring internally, we've tried every arbitrage that we can figure out, but buying the word cleaning or corporate cleaning, it's impossible.
Carpets.
It's impossible. I mean, even when we just did a thing where we were trying to sell face masks on different social platforms where it's very, very complicated and so forth, but in bulk for companies to open up and so on and so forth, and we can never get the numbers right. So I would just say I'm going to make a blanket statement that paid advertising has not been easy. Does paid advertising work? I mean, I'm sure you could figure
direct to consumer.
Sometimes, direct to consumer a little bit more, but what I can say 100% confidently is that creating content consistently across all channels and having that content have a voice that is consistent works. 100%. If that voice is erratic, it confuses the end consumer. It's like if this Pacifico had a different colored label every time when you went to the fridge or when you went to the freezer or wherever you keep these things.
I don't even have to know it's Pacifico. I know.
You know the colors, right? You'd be confused if you saw a different label on each one.
So you guys, as Culture Studio, I know I've gone to you guys to help me recreate a design, create a logo. I've used you guys for swag. Talk about as cleaning business owners, and I'll tell you guys is you guys have to look for somebody that you can call, text, email, make it a personal relationship, because this is going to be an important part of your business, is having a go-to that can produce many different things, and it goes beyond just apparel. That's why I want to emphasize these guys helped with coasters and stuff like this, where you guys are creators, right? You guys help with creativity of taking somebody's logo, taking somebody's image, and helping them with storytelling their brand. What other things than just people think of screen printing as t-shirts? What more can the screen printing company do for a cleaning business?
Yeah, I think like things that we've done successfully with you guys is like the apparel is one thing, but then it's like what type of apparel? Are we doing hoodies for the fall and the winter time? Are we doing gloves? Are you guys outside working in the rain? So we can switch up and do some water resistant jackets. There's so many different products that you can choose, and that all adds to the product line that you have. But yeah, like even what you were talking about is like the relationships you have with your vendors are so important. Getting to a point where you're able to text them and call them and say, hey, I ran out of product for something. Can you overnight this stuff to me tomorrow? Or can you, even better, drive it over to me today so I can finish this job? You're only going to get that service when you have a relationship with somebody. And I think that relationship goes, whether it's your apparel manufacturer for your branding, your supplies, your machinery. If you have that type of relationship, you can get things done pretty quick. So relationship is definitely key. But back to the branding thing, it's like you can do everything from, like you said, the coasters to apparel to signage to the list goes on of different things that you can brand, and it all plays into that brand recognition, I think.
I would say if I'm a cleaning company looking for a merchandise company, I want to find somebody that understands the relevance of the product, because I'm sure that in the grand scheme of things, all companies in our space can make a banner or a coaster or a t-shirt or so on and so forth, but what I would be searching for is a company that is thoughtful in the relevance of the product. So they're looking at you as a business and saying, okay, well, you guys are going to be in wet environments, so we're doing rubber boots that come higher, that have the company logo on them, or whatever the case may be. I think where oftentimes companies go wrong is trying to sell a piece of branding that nobody wants. I think everybody gets that thing at an event that you don't want, because it's not necessarily a bad product or a poor quality product or so forth, but it's irrelevant. Like, do I actually need to use this? And so if I was, in this space looking to grow my brand, I would look at, is this product relevant to the business that I'm going to be doing? Or is it relevant to my people? Are they going to use it? It's a hard sell to give somebody, or even worse, make them pay for something that they don't actually need.
Yeah.
Take face masks. Like, we could sell face masks like all day like crazy. I mean, it's just been insane. Why? Because people need them. Like, it's a law, you have to, which is an insane law, but it's a law that if you go outside to your local Walmart or wherever you shop, you have to wear one to walk in. So like that thought process, I think, has really like skyrocketed for us. It's like, okay, let's focus on things that people need. Like, if you need that, if you're a cleaning company and you wear gloves every day, then get logo gloves. Yeah. If you're a shipping company and you ship boxes every day and you put tape on them, get the logo tape. Yeah. Like, think more like a little simpler. Sometimes I think we're often too creative. Yeah. Right?
But I gotta say, and this is a perfect example, and the segue is, you guys are my partner and a supporting partner in my business where, Carlo, just an example of, I said, damn, I need vests. Carlo, I text Carlo, I email Rich, I'm always sending them things that, hey, could you guys get this? Could I get this? Is this a good item? What's this product? What's this material? I don't know this shit. Yeah. I remember, I tried for like a couple months. I was like, fuck this shit. I'm gonna order my own stuff and I'm just gonna send it to the guys in print. No.
Nightmare.
Don't do that.
Right? Came in a bunch of shirts from Target. I take that shit back. Nightmare.
It's just, you can't, don't fight the process, right? The process is, you guys are experts, people in your line of business are experts at product, material, cost, logistics, garments. Like, this is what you guys do. We don't do that. Let's trust the process. Now you guys, I send stuff to you guys as ideas, and hey, can I do this? Rick, you don't want to do that. That's it. Where you go? What's it going to be used as? I'm going to use it out in the rain, and the guys are going to be working in, in some tough environments. It's gonna disintegrate. That's a bad piece of material. That's what I'm talking about. That's value that you guys bring to me. Where again, it's an easy message, and you'll tell me, Rick, where the hell did you find that? Get that.
You got to build something that than me. Just order it.
Order and drop ship it and get it printed.
I'm gonna have to put a markup on it. Just buy it yourself.
Those are examples of trust the partners that you have, because whether it's your screen printing vendor, whether it's the person that helps you buy your trucks in our business, you guys know, if you offer carpet cleaning or floor services or construction, you have vehicles now, right? So it's like, then you could see that, you guys could probably see where I'm going with, I know how to buy a car better than the car dealership. No, you don't. Let the car dealer buy the car,
they do.
Sell it to you. Again, so it just comes to like the support system you guys bring, right? You guys helped me create my logo, right? The Rosalado logo. Marley drew it, gave it to Rich. Rich sent it to the art department. We got our logo done.
Nice.
And now it's, I don't have to worry about an art file because you guys have it.
Made it ready to go on a banner. Made it ready to go on a T-shirt and business cards.
Simplicity.
Simplicity. There's definitely technique behind all of that. But also as vendors, I think it's important that we also pitch you ideas, because we're the experts. So it's like, you're out here closing the next deal, figuring out what next property you're going to get into, and if we're always feeding you ideas, like, check out this new hoodie that came out, look at these snapback hats that came out, it'll really match your brand. If we're feeding that stuff to you, that adds us even more as a better vendor as well. And like, what can we do that as we're vendors to other people, is feeding people ideas. Like in cleaning, it's like, we use you for the carpets, but didn't know that you do tile. And like, we wouldn't know unless you shot us over a new spec sheet saying, hey, did you know that now we're experts in tile? Holy shit, now I don't got to use this tile guy, I can use you. And sometimes you forget to build sales on the business that you already have. That's like, that's my key. It's like,
network. Because you guys are dealing with other small business owners. So if you guys, I'm your go-to cleaner, you guys are going to send me referrals, right? Exactly. So it's like building that network of vendors.
Building a network of vendors.
Because we're a vendor too. We're a vendor.
And then like just building your sales with the current clientele you have.
Yeah.
So like if you're already in and you're cleaning, the offices for a company, and then you just added new contractor services, like don't go out and try to find new business. Just look at the business you already have and pitch them. And
Upsell to a point,
Yeah.
but you're expanding on the relationship.
Sometimes we always try to go after the new deal, the new customer, when you just go after your current customer base and try to upsell them and get to a close pretty quick.
Yeah. So I wanted to now go in the direction back into entrepreneurship and business minded stuff. So Carlo, I have a topic for you, but Rich, I have a topic for you first. Is you are the business acumen part of culture, right? So
Whether you like it or not.
I would slightly prefer to be in the art department,
but
Steve knows that. But
give us some insight on, because you wear multiple hats, Carlo. I know you do too. But Rich, you wear multiple hats. Cleaning business owners, when they start, just so you guys know, it's fragmented to the point where 90% of cleaning business owners don't reach $1 million in revenue.
Mm-hmm.
That's a big market.
Yeah.
Think about there's business owners. The other 10% are 10 million, 50 million, 100 million, 1 billion.
Yeah. There's
Small.
a big gap.
Big gap.
So
So
same with our space.
So what tips could you give from a business, whether it's reading books, reading articles, a podcast that you listen to, a routine of how do you make yourself better as a person who has to wear multiple hats, being a CEO or owner of a business?
Yep. I think that correlates because the typical business in our space, the benchmark's 900,000. So 900,000 in top line revenue is the median top line revenue for a commercial printing company. If you look at our whatever code, NIC code or whatever. But I think that businesses in that size highly underestimate themselves, and so I think it's easy to say, well, I don't know how to do that, or I don't know, I've never done social media, I've never done branding, or I've never done a mass email, or we only have 34 followers, or I think that's the easy way out. I would say my recommendation is to be a little more exploratory with trying to try things. If you have an email list and 10 people are on that email list, if you serve 10 of those people relevant information, then you're going to gain more business on that current clientele that you have. Mm-hmm. And to piggyback off of what Carlos said, I think everybody is so consumed with what's next, and they don't necessarily look at what they have. And so if you're doing 900,000 a year and you're at the median and you're having a really hard time getting to the next level, why? Because it's hard to do Google AdWords and your social media channels aren't exploding and so on and so forth. It's thoughtful to turn on the inside and look at the client. If you have 10 people that love you, then let's try to gain business with the 10 that you currently have. And so I think the easiest excuse is that I've never done that and I don't know how to do it, so therefore I can't. I would say if you're
a cop, it's a cop out.
Yeah, if you're
it's an excuse.
If you're in the business, at the end of the day, if you can control it. If you can't control it, then that's
a different story.
That's a different story. Yeah. If you open a bar and you're not a bartender, you got problems. Yeah. But if you open a bar and you are a bartender, then worst case scenario is that you go and bartend. So I would say, as long as you're in a business that you can control, at the worst case scenario, you step in and do it, then you can then just consider consistent education, expand that education, continue to learn, what more can I do? Today I'm going to leave the business in a better place than I was yesterday. Yeah. I'm going to learn how to do, a new software system that can send mass emails. Even though I only have 10, if I can reach 10, I'll be able to gain, more revenue in that sense. So I think don't underestimate yourself.
I like that.
As long as you can control it, go for it. Don't think about what you can't do.
Because there's a lot of resources out there.
I mean, your YouTube, freaking YouTube.
Yeah.
Google it.
You could YouTube damn near anything. You can figure anything out. If you don't have the skill set, I think that's a totally different conversation. And if you don't have the skill set, and you don't have a brother, then you should go find somebody that has that skill set, and bring them in your internal circle.
Find a cousin,
Right.
Just identifying your shortcomings or weaknesses to find somebody else to improve them.
Yep.
Because you should worry about your strengths. Right?
100%.
So, Carlo, let's talk about your strength is selling, right?
Yeah.
So you guys nailed it, or you nailed it earlier when you said sales cures everything. In our business, that is a big thing. Like, it's a big win if you win a $5,000 a month contract. It's a big win when you win a $1,000 a month contract.
Mm-hmm.
It's a huge win when you win a $900,000 a year contract. But it's all driven by sales.
Yep.
So talk about, I wish I had a whiteboard that we could talk about the art of negotiation that we talked about.
Yeah.
Well, give us some tidbits on, kind of that direction that we've talked about. You've shown my people how to. How do you negotiate a whiteboard? Give us some of those tips on, people fall flat sometimes. Like, I don't want a cold call. I don't want to send an email blast. I don't want to walk in and knock on doors. Mm-hmm. Again, excuses.
Yeah.
Like what would you recommend? You don't know cleaning, but I know you already know how to sell cleaning.
Yeah.
You already showed my guys.
Yeah.
Like, give us some tips that people could walk away from right now and say, oh shit, you know what? Let me write that one down.
Well, one thing that I like to talk about with our business, and sometimes we don't even know it, we don't even recognize it until we take a step back and look at it. And banks love this when they're like, oh, how much sales do you do? And we're like, oh, 15 million. And okay, well, can you do 15 million next year? And what I like about our business, and I believe the cleaning companies are the same, is that we call our business reoccurring revenue, almost like the tech space.
Yes, monthly service charges.
Monthly reoccurring revenue. Yeah. And up until now, recently, only tech companies say that. Like I closed 10 subscriptions for $100, and I got $1,000 of reoccurring revenue. Mm-hmm. Right? That's a tech statement, but it also lives in our industry as well, because like we close a deal, which is reoccurring revenue for us, and it's a lifetime client. So it's not just the 15 million that we're going to do this year. It's how much is that your number one client going to do every single year for the next 15 years, as long as you service them. Yeah. You got to come, and that's where the back of the house comes in.
Yeah. Quality control.
You can close the deal.
Customer service.
You close the deal, and that and we always talk about it hunting. You go out there, you spear the next deal, throw it over your shoulder, and bring it back to camp. Look what I caught. Look what I caught. So reoccurring revenue is something to always remember. And reoccurring revenue is customer success. It's like, okay, I closed this deal for this physician company, and I signed a 1-year contract. All right, cool. Signed a 1-year contract. That could be $10,000 deal. Let's put a clause in there that I have first right of refusal. Let me try to get this, and if I service you, let me get another 2-year extension. Now you could predict that you're going to do $10,000 a year with this client. Predictable revenue is incredible. So when you have predictable revenue with being able to forecast a little bit, it's huge. So always looking at your business as a little bit of reoccurring revenue is awesome. Actually, if you ask Rich and I every single year for the last 12 years, what we're going to do the next year in revenue, we've always been within 96% of the forecast. Mm-hmm. That's how predictable our revenue is.
Wow.
So our biggest client might be, I'm just going to throw numbers out there. Let's say it's $1 million client. If the market's the same, depending on if Travis Scott goes on tour this year, and then Kanye West goes on tour, and Drake goes on tour the same year, it's going to be a hell of a fucking year. But sometimes they take some years off. So Travis Scott's on here, but then Guns N' Roses goes out, and Rolling Stones goes out. It still usually equals out the same revenue for that one client. Yeah. So we've always been able to predict 96% of our revenue because of the reoccurring feature. So how does that play in your world? What kind of contracts do you have that you can look out into the not the future, maybe not 5 year. Yeah. That's the goofiest question, I think. Is like, what's your 5-year plan? What the fuck knows? Let's talk about at least 1 year. I don't know what 1 year. I have no idea what 5 years looks like. I don't even know if I'll be alive. Yeah. But in 1 year, I could.
You got to give them the back of the house who can build a house, but who can tear it down.
Oh, that's one of my best quotes.
I love that.
Any jackass can kick down a barn, but it takes a skilled carpenter to build one. And what that means is you can bring anybody in, and they can mess up your entire process.
Yeah.
They can say, I know how to do this better. You can bring an employee in, and they completely respond to one of your clients the wrong way. It's like, do you know how long it took me to get this client to this point? And you can kick down this barn with one jackass kick, but it took a skilled carpenter to build it. Don't let anyone kick you down your barn.
Yeah.
So you got to have some true insight on that.
And that's like the backup of account management. You know, like it's one thing to be a skilled carpenter to go get a sale, but it's a completely different beast to be able to manage and maintain
and just lead.
Exactly. All right, cool. So 4 levers of negotiation. So, and this goes to any business. Now, if you're selling T-shirts or if you're selling hand sanitizer or whatever the hell it is, this plays into a role. So, how many times in any of our careers where we're so happy to get a sale, we'll do whatever the hell it takes, right? Someone says, "Hey, I want 1,000 shirts," or in your instance, yeah, you can clean my office for a week, and you're like, "Okay, here's my price, $1,000." And they come back, "No, I only have $800 budget," and you say, "Okay, I'll take it." That's been the story of my life.
Done. You'll sign? You'll sign? Okay, cool.
You'll sign out? Okay, take that. Okay, I think that's what every person, especially in the beginning stages, like, you just gave them $200 off. You got the deal, but what else did you get from it? Nothing. You got the deal. So the 4 levers of negotiation is pretty much putting you in a spot to get something more for that discount that you're giving. Okay, that's the basis of it. Let's say I'm on the negotiation team for Rosalato, and you call me in because you got a huge Uber account you're about to close. It's massive. Let me bring Carlo in. We got to close a deal. So here I come in. I say, okay, Uber, you got 100 offices, and this is going to be a big deal for us. Can we start by me writing down on the board what's important for me at Rosalato? This is what's important for our organization. Number 1 is volume. Okay? Talk about volume. Number 2 is cash. Number 3 is length of commitment. And 4 is timing of the deal. These 4 things are what means the most to my organization. And probably the most to anyone's organization, right? Volume, cash, length of commitment, and timing of the deal. Those 4 things mean so much to all of us. So you go, okay, I gave you a quote for $100,000 and they want a discount. They want $80,000. That's their budget. Usually we say, okay, let's do it. We'll take it. We're going to get there. I'm going to take the $80,000 no matter what, but I'm going to get something out of it. Volume. You know what? I know you have 200 offices, Uber, and you're only giving me 100. You want $20,000 discount. How about you give me 150 offices for the same rate? I want to get you to that discount, your 20% discount, but I want 50 more offices. How's that sound? And they say no. Okay, cool. You want a discount still, right? But let me mark off the volume. You won't give me another 50. All right, so you're not going to come my way on this, but you still want your discount, right? Okay, cool. Let's keep moving on down the line. Cash. What are your normal terms? Net 30? Okay.
Yeah.
How about we do net 15 instead? Or better yet, let's do 50% credit card up front and 50% after. That's better cash commitment, right? That's faster money. We all want money faster. And they're like, all right, shit. It's $1 million deal, and I'm going to pay you the money anyway. Let's do net 15. Done. I'm going to give you 5% discount for that.
We do it for.
I'm going to pay you.
If we get a discount, we'll pay early. We'll prepay if we get a discount.
So I'm already going to give net 30 terms, but let's do net 15, or let's do 50% deposit. All right, cool. I'm going to pay you back for that in the form of a discount. Here's 5% off because I'm getting something.
I'll take it.
Oh shit! If I can get 15, net 15 days faster, 2 weeks quicker.
Yeah,
that's
both
cash.
sides.
That helps.
Win-win.
I'm getting something. I was going to give them that discount anyway, but now I'm getting faster cash. I'm going to pay you back in the form of a discount, right? And then now we go to length of commitment. Usually we just close that deal, move on with no shaking hands, no commitment, saying, you know what? Let's lock this rate in for a year. Let's lock this in. I don't have to continue this dog and pony show and try to continue to do this. Let's lock this rate in for a year. Now I got that predictable revenue we just talked about, and let's lock it in for a year. Or better yet, let's do it for 2.
Because in our case, usually it's a 1-year contract. We would say, let's do 2 years.
Let's do 2 years.
Let's do 2 years.
So now when my sales team comes to me and say, hey, what do you think we're going to forecast for next year? Well, I closed 2 deals where I landed 2-year contract. I already know we're going to do $20,000 with this account.
And mind you, the bank
loves this.
They
Loves
they want
contract.
real
Yeah, like,
that's why they love the service business.
every time we say we're close with our clients, we know their kids,
Yeah.
they completely
Exactly.
disregard the conversation.
So timing of the deal.
Contract is,
They come back to you and say, all right, cool, let's do 2 years. You guys are awesome. I like your product. And I don't want to do this again with another company. Let's do 2 years.
Mhm.
Now, I still giving him the damn discount I was going to give to him anyway. But I just walked away with better terms and a 2-year contract. Which before I would just walk away with nothing because I was so happy to close the deal.
Just to get the deal.
And then finally is timing of the deal. And how many times have you gone and pitched these big accounts and they're like, okay, we gotta use up the guy we're using right now. In 4 months, check back in. All right, well, check this out. You want this really good price? I can lock you in if you sign the deal today. Sign it today. We can start 3 months from now, but let's get this deal signed today or within a week. I'll lock you in and we'll move forward. So now you're putting a time constraint on them. Time constraint.
Commitment.
A commitment, but you're also putting some timing to it. So now you got all the things that you wanted, and you're gonna lock this in within a week. So many of us salespeople, I've done it many times. It's like, yes, that was awesome. Check back in with me 5 months from now. I'm like, damn, I just did all that, the whole show.
And you get nothing.
Oh shit, I did all that, and I gotta check back in. No, let's do this within a week. Let's lock this in. And now, if you never would have done that, you would have done the same thing and walked in, did it for the 20% discount, and got nothing for it. But now I'm walking in with a better cash stance. I'm walking in, and maybe if you're really good at what you're doing, you would have got the volume deal too.
Yeah.
I like to walk away with all 4.
Yeah.
I'll check them out, bam, bam, bam. So in my instance, I go, thank you for the $500,000 worth of annual business. I know you give $1 million away. Give me another $200,000. What do I need to do to get that?
Yeah.
20% discount is how you get it. So you lock it in. 4 levers of negotiation. You can use this in everything that you do, from buying a car to landing more deals. Anything that involves negotiation, you can use one of these levers. You're going to walk away with something when you already were going to give it anyways.
you know, I do feel that too, that clients have a newfound respect for a vendor when they go at this.
Yeah, because this is a value add.
And like, this is a level of professionalism that they're not used to.
Yeah.
You know, most clients at the end of this conversation aren't taken back. They're actually quite drawn in.
Yeah.
They almost feel like they're part of the negotiation.
Yeah.
And then if it's a larger organization, they're sharing it. You know,
Yeah, exactly.
like
Because
hey,
it's a we.
yeah, like
It's
guess
a we
what?
approach.
Like we just beat the shit out of our
Yeah.
new company, and they gave us 1, 2, 3, and 4 things that we had wanted, and like, but really,
Yeah.
you know, really
Well, it was both
you're
sides.
winning. You know,
Yeah, it's
like
both
it's a
sides.
win-win.
Yeah.
You know, they have the cash so they can pay it out early.
Yeah.
They want the discount, so they're willing to give more volume.
Yeah.
Like, it's totally a win-win.
And I want to end with, but then get those terms in a quick contract.
Yeah, 1 page,
You know? And don't even call it a
non-legal contract.
Yeah. Don't even call it a contract because people
Yeah,
are
yeah.
scared, and then you got to go through legal. Like,
Sell sheet.
it's an agreement.
One
It's
sheet.
Service agreement.
I
Service
say,
agreement.
hey, you don't mind if I write this down so we know that we can revisit this a year from now? There's no lawyers involved. Let's not go through the red tape and everything.
So 1 sheet.
So we can check, and then we can check each other's performance. You know, like did we do the performance that we said we were going to do? Did we clean as fast? Did we have the right response rate? Did you pay us in time? Did you give me the more volume?
It's accountability.
Accountability on both parts. Did I live
Yeah.
up to what I said, and did you live up to it? And let's check back in a year from now, and maybe the terms get better, or maybe we lock it in for another year, whatever it is.
Yeah.
Get it in writing, and then when you go to the bank and say, hey, I got 10 contracts, 10 commitments with cash, with volume, everything. How's that look?
Yeah, it's a totally different
Way,
conversation. I can
way
tell you
better
that.
position to be in.
Definitely a totally different
So-
conversation.
We could keep going here.
Yeah.
I'm sorry this is probably the longest episode we've had, but to end though, can you guys let the audience know, how do you find Culture Studio? Like what's your social media? What's your email? What's your
Culture Studio. Yeah.
Yeah,
it.
culturestudio.net is the
Yeah.
website. You can find us on LinkedIn, Instagram,
Socials,
Facebook.
yeah.
All the socials is culturestudio.net. We're very active, so whatever we can do to help.
And you guys can service anybody in the country.
Anyone in the country.
Right.
Yeah, we're local Chicago people, but we have national distribution anywhere in the country. So yeah, if you guys need any services, give us a holler. We'll help you out.
Cool. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed this one. This was a good one. As you guys can see, the passion is here. The passion just is gonna ooze through this episode. But you guys, cheers. Cheers,
Salud.
guys. I appreciate
Salud.
it.
Boom.
All right. Thanks,
Salud.
guys.